Good morning. This is our weekly tarot. And I say weekly because I'm getting ready to go to the Good Medicine Conference at the end of the week, where I'll be teaching a few different classes. One on the language of scent in subtle aromatherapy, two hands-on classes where I'll be demonstrating how to make lotion and tailor your own skincare, and how to make hydrosol in a pot still at home. And the final class that I'll be teaching is one of my most passionate subjects, safety in aromatherapy and how to use essential oils. So this makes me have a really busy week, and I've had a really busy summer, showing up to different festivals and fairs and creating product for all of those things and traveling around, which has made my content that I've been sharing with you all a little bit limited because I haven't had a lot of time to create it. But next week I will be going back to having my daily readings for you all. I've had a few people reach out to me in the last couple of weeks to just encourage me to continue to make content and reminding me that they value it and appreciate it. So thank you if you have reached out to me and let me know that you do appreciate what I offer here. I appreciate you too. Let's go ahead and jump into the tarot for today. I actually pulled us 7 cards for the day. The opening card is the Empress. So if you consider the old game shows, right, and they gave you a series of doors that you got to choose to go through, and behind door number 1 offered you one thing, and behind door number 2 offered you perhaps something different, and door number 3 held another possibility. There was this option, an opportunity by choice, but also it lended a quality of mystery. And we're going into a similar energy this week. It's like we're going through some kind of doorway, and I would actually argue that we don't get so much choice over which door we choose. It's almost as if the door that we are meant to go through will open in front of us, and it's up to us to walk through that door. So the Venus card, or, the Empress, which is governed by Venus, is reminding us to put our feet on the earth and to really look at each day by way of what it offers us in an experience and in exchange. Venus as a planet is the planet that brings abundance and has a heart-opening quality to it. Venus right now is in Cancer, and the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is typically associated with family lines and your tribe. And so some of us may be going into this space where we are sharing more time with our loved ones and the people that we really appreciate in our lives, particularly because Venus is in that area. What's so interesting is that, Cancer is the sign that is in opposite placement to Capricorn. Capricorn is where Pluto has been sitting for the last number of years, creating all kinds of transformation in the realm of society, right? And unfortunately, we can see that sometimes when people choose a doorway that gives them certain access to information, it can really affect our relationships, because those impressions are seeding our mind with a lot of different things. Perhaps in some instances, things that are actually counterintuitive to our value system. So we are in a lot of ways passing through this doorway this week, or we will be seeing the doorway that is very clear, that is opening for us. The challenge that I just kind of foreshadowed a little bit that arrived today is the King of Pentacles. So what are your values? What are your belief systems, right? Do you have any kind of certainty that is perhaps getting in your way of engaging in relationship with people? And this card here, it's pretty interesting because it is highlighting this big shift that's happening at the end of this week by way of everything that's going on up in Taurus, which is what this card governs. The King of Pentacles is a fixed earth sign related to Taurus. And this week, at the end of the week, we will be having a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction, which will be the meeting of the North Node, the planet of Uranus, and Mars. So there is a very activating energy this week that will bring in some kind of surprise and some kind of shift that is quite likely going to be affecting our lives for the next 15 or 16 or so years. And consider that Taurus is the sign of our value system, sign of our resources, sign of matters related to our agricultural system, things that are earth related, right? Fixed earth things. And we may be seeing a really big shift happening in this area globally and also in our own personal lives, particularly in the area of your chart, which is where Taurus is sitting. So I am looking at making a video on how this is showing up in our lives, likely when I return from the confluence next week, just to give people a little bit of perspective, because too often we take what is going on in our personal lives personally, right? And the things that are affecting that aren't necessarily things that we have control over. So if we can consider that everything that we are moving through in life is something that offers us something by way of experience and knowledge, then maybe we can grow to not take things so personally, if that makes sense. So how are we going to get through this challenge here? Showed up as the Nine of Pentacles. So I guess I just want to ask people, because depending on where you are at in life, you may feel like you have a lot of projects that you want to get into, a lot of things that you want to complete. And I think we have to consider how much time and energy we have and what is really important to us as far as where we want to put our energy. And it's quite likely that by the end of the week, there's going to be some kind of shift. Like the direction that you thought you were going is going to take a hard left or a hard right, or, maybe a little bit of a somersault or something and end you up in a different facing direction. But there will be clarity that comes this week, and it's going to come by way of activating your own intelligence as in regard to where you need to put your time and energy in the months and years to come. So we'll be figuring that out and, be able to wrap up some projects that we've been working on so that we can move into those things. So our ultimate outcome for the day came in as 3 cards. Actually, 2 cards got pulled out together, and then I pulled us an additional card just for clarity's sake, because my instincts told me to. So the 2 cards that came out together is the Queen of Swords and also the Two of Wands. So when we consider these 2 energies, it's asking us, how do we go into exchange? What can we bring to the table as an offering when we engage with other people by way of communication? And is there this place of balance that we can find through discourse? I was sharing with my friends earlier today that I find it really, I said amusing, but I also feel it's kind of ironic and a bit unsettling as well. That when I went through college to earn my journalism degree and my environmental studies degree, because I was intent on changing the world, ironically, I learned that anything that you say, even if you have the best intentions, can be re-edited to say something in complete opposite as to what you intend. And so I got a little disenchanted with media in general. But what I was sharing with my friends today was that, it's so interesting that when I went through school, it was all about how to be objective, when you are interviewing people and sharing information. And I don't see that in the media now. I don't see any objectivity that is being presented to people. Instead, I see news that looks more like it's a talk show, and things that almost seem like they're trying to enrage and aggravate people rather than providing people objective information for people to be able to derive their own standpoint from. And it's really engaged almost and seeded a lot of hatred in our culture. And the Queen of Swords is an interesting character to show up in respect to that, because it's asking us, what are you there to exchange? Are you holding open your hand to take in the other person's perspective? Because, if you look in one direction, you don't really have much perspective. If you look around yourself, 36-degree angles or 360 degrees, you have at least another, 359 points of view to consider. And those points of view can probably offer some perspective and bring us something that is outside of our own realm that we can possibly understand. So we have to watch our own certainty, and what influences our mind and influences our behavior and what influences our exchange. So the second card that showed up in this little duo here is the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is this person who's like, I feel called to go over there and I feel called to do that, but I have to take care of this one thing that's still behind me. And so in a lot of ways, it's revealing that we are moving into this new unknown territory after this week. The final card that we have is the Fool card. This card is influenced and speaks to the planet of Uranus, which I had mentioned a little while ago is in the sign of Taurus, which also showed up today. And we have this once-in-a-lifetime conjunction this week. So what does that mean? Well, it means that there's going to be some kind of big shift. And the Fool card is showing up to remind you that you have this compass in your body, which interestingly enough circulates everything around your body so that you can exist and regulate your system in this world. And we call it the heart, the anatomical heart. But the heart has an energetic quality to it that is in connection with our essential nature as well. And it can, in a sense, open when we are in a situation or around others that we feel is inviting and welcoming. And it can also get us to close down if we feel like we need to protect ourselves. And so the body is quite literally a beautiful antenna to give us guidance around the environments that we're in, and also situations and possible new beginnings that our being feels called forward toward. And so I'm going to wrap up this reading today to just ask people to listen, not just to what's going on externally around them, but also what's going on inside of them and what you feel called to move toward and what you feel called to do. And not by a way of like responding to fear, but responding from your being, because we are all here in the midst of this situation that we're all in right now. And we're in this together, right? For better, for worse. And so can we be in exchange? Can we be willing to follow our own instinct so that we can be an active participant in rebuilding from the shifts and changes and things that have been happening over the last couple of years. Because if we put that power in someone else's hands, then we're really missing the mark, in my opinion. It's time for us to follow our heart and really trust that we have something of value to bring and offer into the world and bring to the table by way of exchange. I hope you all are well and staying well out there wherever you are, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now. Mwah.